Hi, this is Duke from Workman Firearms. Today I'd like to show you how to disassemble, clean, and reassemble the Sig P226. And while I'm at it, if you're at Workman Firearms, we have a great product for lubing your weapon. It's our gun sriracha sauce for only $3.50. This tube will last you a lifetime. So come see us at Workman Firearms. Thanks, and let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so today we're going to clean the Sig 226 Legion. Before we do any cleaning of any gun, of course, we want to make sure that it's clear. So visually and physically inspect the weapon to make sure that it is clear of any ammunition. So you can see here the magazine's gone, and I'm physically checking that the chamber is empty as well. Now the takedown of the Sig 226, similar to the takedown of any other Sig Sauer weapon, is to lock it back with the slide lock, bring the takedown lever 90 degrees to the right, and the slide comes right off. Field stripping the weapon, remove the recoil spring and the barrel, and there you have it. The gun is stripped. Now to clean, you can start with either the barrel or the frame or the slide. I prefer to start with the slide. And you take any kind of a solvent, a Hoppe's, as this one is, or any other good reputable solvent. Squirt a little bit on the weapon and then clean it out. You can use a soft rag or a paper towel. Just make sure that you don't leave a lot of debris in the weapon, and you can clean it out as such. For some of the smaller spaces, a Q-tip is helpful to reach into those spaces and get the dirt, the carbon, and any other sediment that happens to be on the weapon. As you can see, that's fairly clean. One place particular to pay attention is the breech where the firing pin comes out, and also the ejector and the extractor. So that piece is done. We can put that aside. Now for the barrel, again, we like to put in a little bit of solvent. And in fact, some folks like to start this first and let it sit for a couple minutes so that it has a chance to solve actual sediment that's in and the debris that's inside of the barrel. Once that's done, you take a cleaning rod with a proper size brush attached, run it from the breech end towards the muzzle. Three or four times should be sufficient, unless it's really fouled, in which case you may have to do it again. Once that's done, like I said, I like to put the barrel aside for just a little bit. On the recoil spring, as you can see, it comes off the recoil rod here. You can check it for sediment, for dirt. Take a paper towel, clean it off. You can also clean the rod off. One thing to pay attention to, of course, is the colored end always goes towards the back of the rod. If yours is different, then always just make sure to note which end of the recoil rod the colored end of the spring goes on. Okay, so then we turn our attention to the grip. Here, again, you can spray some solvent in, let it sit for a minute or two, some period of time, and then clean it off. You want to make sure to get the rails cleaned here and the front where the carbon can build up. The carbon will also build up on the inside here. You want to make sure you get that. And then on the actual trigger mechanism itself, the hammer, you get that cleaned up, and inside the mag well, sometimes I like to push a clean cloth through the mag well to bring it up and get any of the sediment that was in. And again, make sure that if you have a paper towel, you don't leave debris in there. Another area that you can use a Q-tip on is on the hammer area and on the sear area where the springs are, to clean off and make sure that you get the dirt out of that. Now I turn our attention back to the barrel. And what we want to do now is clean out any debris that's left in the barrel. So I'll take some clean gun patches, and on my cleaning rod, I'll replace the brass brush with the proper size jag, and I'll take a clean patch and put it through the barrel, again from the breech end through the chamber and out the front. And you can see this is really dirty, so I'll take a clean patch once again, and I'll continue to do this. You can see there's a lot less dirt this time, and sometimes you can even turn those around and use them a second time to economize a little bit. On the last run, I like to take a clean cloth, a clean patch, and put that through. You see it's coming pretty clean at this point. You're never going to get it perfect like it was when it came from the factory, but you can get pretty close. All right, for illustration purposes, we'll say that's done at this point. One thing I want to point out is on the feed lip here, you may want to make sure that that's clean. And you can see there's a little bit of copper buildup on mine here. You can use a brass brush to hit that and scrape that off, and it won't hurt the end of the barrel. And then again, you can see that comes right off and it's clean. So now we've cleaned the barrel, we've cleaned the slide, we cleaned the recoil spring, and we cleaned the grip. So what's left is to reassemble, and we want to put some lubricant on the weapon before we reassemble it. What I like to do is take some of our handy dandy, and you can buy this at Range 42. It's great stuff. We call it gun sriracha. Put a little bit of gun sriracha on the top. Take your finger, run it all around the barrel and the chamber. This is the chamber end, this is the barrel end, and the muzzle end. And when that's done, you can reinsert it. Now, one caveat I'll put on it right now, I tend to run my guns wet, which means I put more lubricant on them than a lot of people do, but my guns always work. So I think a little bit more oil is better than less oil, unless you're in a desert condition or someplace where you're going to get a lot of mud in them, which I tend to take care of my guns so that doesn't happen for me, okay? And I'm sure it wouldn't happen for you either. I like to take a little bit of the lube and put a couple of drops in the rails of the weapon on both sides. And I like to put a drop on anything shiny, put a little bit of lubricant. As for the recoil spring, you can put some lube on the recoil rod, just like the barrel. You take your finger and rub it in just to give anything that's metal on metal that's going to chafe or rub. You want to put a little bit of oil on there, a little bit of lube, just to make sure that it's going to be smooth. Okay, I reinsert the recoil spring. Turning to the grip itself, I like to put a drop of lube on any spring that you see, and also on the rails. And again, just a little bit goes a long way. You can take your finger and rub it down and make sure you get some where it needs to be. And sometimes there's a spring inside the trigger guard. In this case, we don't have one, but for some other SIGs you do. Taking the slide and the grip, I put them back together, and again, use the slide stop, lock it back. The takedown lever goes back up. Work the lube in, and pretty much you're done. You can take a soft cloth, wipe the weapon down, get rid of any excess lube that might come out, and I guarantee you'll have a good time with this weapon at the range. It'll function perfectly. Have a good day.